So, growing up, I hated laundry. And it was a good thing for me that I honestly never really had to do it. I basically had my grandmother there to do my laundry all the time for me. Most of the time. Sometimes when I was at my dad, I didn't. But most of the time, back then I was, my parents aren't together, so I'd go back and forth between my mom or my grandparents and then my dad's. And so I'd usually just wash my clothes at my grandparents, you know what I mean? And so, I really didn't really wash clothes for real until I got to high school, and then my grandmother stopped mainly. She did occasionally for me, maybe once a month or, 2 or 3 times every 2 months, you know what I mean? Sometimes like that, she would do it occasionally for me, but most of the time, I would do that for myself in high school. And bro, I could not do laundry, dude. Bro, I've never really been able to do chores until about 8, 9 months ago, genuinely. So I'm 20 years old, and it's not that I couldn't do chores at all. I could do chores, I had to growing up, especially when I was at my dad's. I currently live with my dad, but I didn't have a lot asked of me from my grandmother. When I was with my mom, it was different. My mom is disabled; she has multiple sclerosis. And so at times, for my first, up until I was 8, me, my mom, and my sister lived with my mom's parents. So those are the grandparents I'm referring to, my mom's parents. And then me, my mom, and my sister got our own apartment when I was 8 or 9. And then that was for a few years until I was in 6th grade. And then around 6th grade, I went back to live with my grandparents for the rest of 7th grade year. And then throughout all of that time, I think up until I was 10, every other weekend I was going to my dad's, and then when I was 10, I was going back and forth between dad and my grandparents, or dad and mom's. So stability, huh? You know what I mean? I didn't know what that was. And so I didn't learn what stability was until 8th grade, when my dad and my family actually moved down here to Georgia, and I came with them for a year. But I didn't really like Georgia at the time. It didn't resonate with me. And so I left after a year in a horrible fashion. I left for my vacation to New Jersey, and I didn't tell my dad that I was coming back until the day before my flight on a phone call. So that was bad, and it really ruined our relationship for a couple of years, and it took a long time to mend that. But me and my dad are in an amazing place now, and we're better than ever, and we have so much more love and gratitude and, just life and appreciation for each other and respect for each other as well. And I've always loved my dad and looked up to my dad. My dad is my hero, and I'll say that to anybody, you know what I mean? But I left, and so I spent high school with my grandparents. And so, I didn't really have much asked with me for them, you know what I mean? And so I wasn't really in this work attitude, this mindset. Besides doing work at school, it was my work was grinding video games. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? You know what work I had to do? Grinding for Black Ops, grinding Dark Matter, baby, grinding in Fortnite, grinding in Overwatch. Oh yeah, that was my work. He was getting to those dubs. He was ranking up. That was the work I was putting in. Stop playing video games. Anyways, I just didn't know how to do work at all. And it's pretty interesting how I'm only now learning really how to actually work. I'm talking about in the last month, I'm really learning how to work. And it's interesting because I just hated the concept of work for a long time, and that was mainly because of the 9-to-5 system. I haven't had too much job experience in my life. I've had about maybe 12 to 14 months total job experience, so actively working at a job. 12 to 14 months total between the 4 to 5 jobs I've had in my life. So it's not too much, honestly, or 3 to 4 jobs I've had in my life. Yeah, 4. Yeah, I was a lifeguard. I did retail at Adidas. I work for my stepmom, and I did like office like management for one of my dad and stepmom's friends actually. He is a life insurance agent. There you go. But I just hated the concept of work up until last December, really, when I joined the Donna School. And then Hamza's Success Mindsets course like really shifted how I viewed work. And ever since then, my view on work has been totally different. Like I told you, only about 9 months ago could I actually start like doing chores, really. And I still have I still find myself having hard times, like sometimes, honestly, I like don't make dinner for my family on days I should be. I'm gonna keep it so real. Like we usually have food, and it's like, yeah, I just don't feel like making more. You know what I mean? And it's like most of the time, if I'm like locked in, or I'm just tired, or I just don't feel like it, like I'll just be real, right? And it's times like that where I'm like, I don't like that. I don't like that version of myself. You know what I mean? And I feel like once you actually start embracing work, like things really start changing. And this has kind of come apparent to me today because I really suck at doing laundry. Like I told you guys, I didn't have to start doing my own laundry until high school, and then even when I was at high school, I still had like mama to rely on at times. So when I got to college, when I went to college for a year, that was the first time I really had to rely solely on myself. And then it was like, oh my god, that was so bad, bro. Like I would have my laundry thing stack and pile up so big, but like I'm so bad with laundry, dude. Like I'll really use all my clothes and be like down bad to like the last day. And then I'll be like, oh fuck. You know what I mean? Like I feel like we all been there, bro. And if you actually have good habits and good standards like me, pound that shit, dog. Respect to you. Respect to you. And probably respect to your parents for instilling that in you. I'm sorry if you can hear Blizzy. Let me tell her to shut up. Oh shit. Alright. She shut up. But yeah. Once I shifted my mindset around work in Adana school, when it was like, nah, bro, work is awesome. Like, work is sick. Work is how you do things. Work is how you take action. Work is how you create change. Work is how you better yourself. Work is how you grow, how you make progress. I was like, oh yeah, that's so true, actually. And the thing is, like, I've never been against work. I've just never really liked working things I didn't like to do. And so when it came to business, entrepreneurship, content creation, getting into those things consistently, I love my purposeful productivity philosophy. Because when you create from a place of fun, from fulfillment, from flow state, you know, purposeful productivity says that you will work harder, you will work more, and you will produce better work if you are working on something that you love, something you enjoy, and something that impacts people that you want to impact. And so if your work is fun, if it's fulfilling, and if it's flow state inducing, then you're most likely, you know, having that productivity aspect of working hard, working more, and then therefore producing better work. And, you know, because of that, you know, and because you're serving your people, have this great sense of fulfillment, this great sense of purpose, because you're actually, you know, doing what you feel like is uniquely yours to give to the people, to your people. And so that's kind of like the idea behind purposeful productivity. Doing the work and showing up because it's not just for you, it's also for your people, it's also to serve, and it's also that you actually enjoy doing what you like to do, you know, or doing what the work is. I'm sitting here on my phone right now because I'm recording this video to you. And I love it. You know, I love recording. I love doing that. I love creating. I just love it. And so I love showing up and I love creating. But there are things I don't love. Like that. I didn't want to show you my laundry for too long because it's, you know, I don't know, it's just kind of gross. But I got some well, actually I just finished sorting my laundry basically. But I kid you not, I'm going to tell you guys the story of this morning, how I was coping so hard about doing my laundry. So basically, I wake up at like 6 a.m. this morning. It's like 5:45 or something. I'm in bed for a bit. probably like 2 minutes. Then I get out, go to the bathroom, come in the room, you know what I mean? Then I grab my phone, got on Twitter, start doing some writing on there. So boom, coolio. Wrote like a little, like a longer tweet, enjoyed that was cool. Put that up, and then I was like, yo, I gotta actually lock in with my edit and my video today for Road to Renaissance episode 3. I'm like, I bet. If you guys don't know, I have a YouTube show called Road to Renaissance. It's like a super long, it's like part podcast, part vlog. So, you know, I spit more game on there, and I also introduce you and show you more of my life as a Renaissance man. So if that interests you, it's the first thing in the description, actually. But when it comes to, you know, episode 3, I was like, I gotta lock in on that. I gotta get to work on that this morning. That's my mindset. But I'm like, yo, wait, before I start doing that, I should actually throw my laundry in the washer so I can, you know, be going while I'm working, so, you know, busting 2 things out at once, you know what I mean? Let's leverage that time, baby, as we do. Let's be efficient. But, so, like, I pull my laundry thing out. I usually just keep it in my closet. I pull it out, and I, like, you know, take all my clothes out, and I'm literally just, all of them are just there. And so I grab my phone, and then I was watching a John Mark Stevenson video. I actually have some notes. I'm gonna actually use these for a segment I'm recording today for Road to Renaissance, talking about discipline, which is cool. But I was watching this John Mark Stevenson video after I finished writing on Twitter, before I thought about the edit. So I was kind of like sitting here kind of bullshitting, and I was like, yo, I gotta get to work. And then, you know, got to work, and I was like, oh wait, I should do the laundry. And then I was bullshitting. I grabbed my phone, and I just started like watching the video again, watching John Mark's video again. I was like, all right, hold up. Let me just grab my headphones, throw this on, and let me just listen to this while I do the laundry. And then I don't remember exactly what happened. Oh, I got an idea to put, I wanted to change my YouTube descriptions on my channel. I actually have it up right here. Yeah, if I can end the video. Good job. So it's right here. I'll show y'all real quick, actually. But I basically just wanted to add a little plug for my boy, because all my songs in Road to Renaissance are mainly by Ghosta. That's my best friend. So I wanted to give him a little plug. So I basically just changed on my description to have that in there, have his little link in there. Okay, so yeah, that's what I did then, and that had me thinking about like his songs and stuff like that. And then I was like, yo, I kind of want to bump one of these songs, right? Because one of them, yeah, I love one of his songs is actually, well, obviously one of his songs is one of my favorite songs by him, but it's a song called You'll Be Alright. And man, that actually might be like one of my favorite songs all time. I love that song, bro. And I use it in so many of my videos, so it was just kind of like in my head. I was thinking about using it for my intro or something, but I was just getting caught up, right? And I was like, okay, back on my phone, because I wanted to find the song so I could play it. But then I started watching the video again by John Mark Stevenson, and so I'm like, hold up, bro, hold up. I'm wilding right now, bro. I'm wilding. I'm sitting here supposed to be sorting some laundry so I can put this in and get to work. And I'm sitting here like spending like 5-10 minutes wasting time scrolling, trying to find a song because I'm like watching a video, and I forgot I was trying to find the song. Like, hold up, what is going on here? You know what I mean? And so I'm like, okay, nah. Let's just say no phone. Let's just put the phone down. Okay? No phone. So I put the phone down. I'm like, I'm just gonna fucking sort the damn laundry. I'm just gonna do it bored. Cool. I'm just do it bored. And so that's exactly what I do, right? I'm just sorting my clothes. You know, I start with the dark ones because they're easiest to find. Most of the black ones, and, you know, some navy blues in there. Then I get the white ones out of there, and then it's just the light stuff left. Cool. While I'm in the process of doing that, I'm like, yo, just showing up and like having, like, not being able to have your phone at all in your vicinity while you're working is just the wave. Your phone is just a distraction. It's like, unless you're actively working on it, like I'm making this video right now, unless you're actively learning on your phone, unless you're actively creating something on your phone, unless you're actively like producing or like consuming something for your betterment, for your growth, it's like, what is your phone doing for you? It's like, if your phone's not being, if it's not a tool, it's manipulating you. Like, you're the tool. You know what I mean? If it's not your tool, then it's using you. Like, you're the tool for other people. You know what I mean? And so you're either leveraging technology for yourself, or other people are leveraging you and your technology for their benefit. I don't think you want that. Now, generally, it's a bit more complex and not as binary. There's, if you like creators and people influence you, then obviously you're allowing other people to influence you, but, that is okay, and that's good in certain ways. And when it comes to intentional and conscious influence, when it comes to people that you look up to, people that are, who have achieved the goals that you want to achieve, people that have done the things that you want to do, so you can learn from them, so you can program their beliefs, so you can learn the things that they did in order to get closer to your goals. You know what I mean? But I really wanted to share the message of, like, put the fucking phone away. Like, put it down. Because if you just put the phone down and you actually just said, like, okay, I'm just gonna do it. Like, showing up to actually do the work is literally the hardest part. Like, starting the work and the work itself usually isn't that difficult. But getting back to focus, starting and getting back to focus is actually the hardest thing about working and about productivity. I was watching a video by Hormozy about this the other day, and he was talking about, like, the real challenge and the real growth when it comes to your ability to increase your productivity, your ability to work longer, is actively working in those points where you want to dip off, you get tired, you get sloggy, you get, like you feel like you can't push through. You're like, nah, I can push through. I still have more in the tank. I can still keep going longer. Because you can, and you honestly most likely do. You know what I mean? Like, bro, I've been pushing myself more and more and more and more every single day. Well, not every single day, but more and more basically every week. In terms of my productivity, I'm just trying to, I'm like, yo, what is my maximum? Like, I'm really trying to genuinely figure out, like, what is the maximum I can produce in a day? And I, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I did my first 12-hour day, and then I did a 6-hour day after that, which was super sick. 2 days ago, or 2 or 3 days ago, or maybe 4 days ago, I think this might have been Tuesday. Yo, oh my god, I'm gonna fucking kill Lizzie. I'm so sorry. Let me go tell her, shut up. Lizzie, quiet! Fuck. I'm sorry. But damn it, where's that? Put the phone away, just do the work. Boom, boom, boom. Showing up is the hardest thing. Staying in the zone is the hardest thing. Yeah, but you can lock back in. That's the thing. Like, we all have the capacity to actually lock back in. Like, do you know? Damn, I forgot the books are. I gotta go get those. My Goggins books are in my brother's rooms. Are in my brother's room. He's me and Ye used to share a room when I first came here because this room wasn't quite available yet. They were still doing some work and stuff. But basically, I was just like, all right, how about I just put the phone down, don't do the work, and while I'm sitting here doing the laundry, I'm like, yeah, I feel like this is just the wave. It's like your phone is just a distraction. Like, if your phone is there to pick up in those times where you get like distracted, where you get out of focus for the work, you'll pick it up, bro. 10 minutes gone, 20 minutes gone, hour gone, 3 hours gone. It's like, bro, I mean, I don't lose hours when I'm in the middle of work. I don't do that kind of shit. But a year ago, before I stopped watching short form, yeah. Yeah. Yo, I'm telling you, the biggest attention span hack is literally just stop watching short form. Stop. I've actually this is something that has kind of been weird for me recently. This is like a little tangent, but in terms of growing on Instagram and Twitter, you typically have to engage and comment. And the thing is, if you want to actually engage and comment a lot and authentically, then you have to actually follow interesting people who do cool things, and you have to actually be interested in their medium of expression. And I think that that's cool, and I like Instagram and Twitter, and I love those, but I'm just not as tapped into those mediums. And maybe that's just something I need to do and challenge myself to be in the unknown as a creator. Maybe I should do that, actually. Now that I'm thinking about that, I feel like maybe I'll delete YouTube on my phone. And if I want to consume it'll just, I can only consume short form, like on my phone. Like I'll just, if I want to watch YouTube, I'll just go on my laptop. But I think that could be an interesting challenge, because the thing is, like right now, I actually want to create on X and on Instagram consistently. Like I've been busting out my tweets on Twitter recently, and I actually do want to post. I'm posting on Instagram more consistently, and I do want to get into Reels as well on Instagram. But the thing is, when you're not plugged into a certain type of medium, when you're not consuming it, it's typically, you don't have the fuel to create it, right? Creating and consuming come from, the same source. You create from what you've consumed, you know what I mean? You create, you produce from what has come in, what you've listened from, what you've consumed, what's been inside of you, you create from that. And so if you haven't consumed things, in that medium, like writing, like short form, like videos, like I don't really scroll on Instagram or Twitter. I'm really, like, my main social media platform is YouTube, honestly. And I love watching shows and movies as well, mainly shows. I'm kind of like a binger guy. So I really like when I can have like 1, 2, maybe 3 shows that I'm like, okay, I know these are the 3 that I have like in my rotation. It's like when I'm not feeling YouTube, boom, we're on a show. You know what I mean? And I think maybe I can do that now. And it's like the show or the movie will be my long form medium if I'm not gonna just like sit down and just watch something here on my laptop. And I'll be more active, I'll be more conscious about actually finding people that I like and spending more time on Instagram and on Twitter, because I actually want to be more inspired by those and figure out how to improve and create on those, you know what I mean? Like, when it comes to being a beginner content creator, create what you consume. Like, I love YouTube. And I know what I like on YouTube, and I have an idea of what other people could like on YouTube because I know what I like. And so if if my prior version is the audience, if my audience relates to me, then they'll probably relate to my content. And so I can make that because I know what I like, because I've done a lot of consuming on that platform. And I've done a lot of consuming on Instagram when I was in high school. You know what I mean? Like, that was all memes and shit. Like, I don't know how to really like show up and do like photo and reels and all that. Like, I hadn't consumed that era when it comes to being a value provider and being a documenter, being like a lifestyle, like showing the lifestyle. Not really being a lifestyle influencer, but just having that aspect, because I think that's an important component of my brand. But yeah, I think that's actually going to be an interesting challenge. Maybe I'll do that for December. I'll try that out. No YouTube on my phone. Yeah, I'm going to try that out, actually. Yeah. That was kind of a tangent, but the point of what was actually the point of that tangent? I think that tangent was kind of just random. I don't know why it got brought up, but I wanted to tell it because I just wanted to tell it. But when it comes to actually doing the work, right? This was supposed to be about putting your fucking phone away, and I started talking about being on your phone more. Not necessarily. It depends on where you're on your journey, right? So a year ago, when I was super down bad, and I was fucking addicted to scrolling and, doom scrolling, I needed to delete Instagram. I could not be on short form. I've never really been a TikTok guy. I had like 2 months where I binged TikTok back in like 2021. Ever since that, I've been like, not impressed. Even though TikTok is pretty good for just gaining traction, I think, actually. But I just don't resonate with the platform. Like, I think short form video is actually a very interesting medium. It's just not one that I personally have been into much. But I think that exploring that will be good because there's just so much attention on Instagram. And I also believe that the attention on Twitter is also cool. And those are just skills I want to cultivate. Like, I'm a multi-creative guy. You know what I mean? I love to write. I love to record. I love to take photos. You know what I mean? I love all these things. And so I want to be able to resonate with all those people and show people that, hey, you don't have to stick to one if you don't want to. You know what I mean? Because you don't. I genuinely know that if you were really locked in on your goals, and if you actually knew how to like show up and do the work for yourself, like you can make progress. You can make it happen. And the thing is about like when you love the work, like purposeful productivity, you get into a deep flow state, you have this immense sense of fulfillment, which is awesome. But even if you're not in a deep flow state, even if it's like boring, like me sorting this laundry before I was recording this video, this is actually how I got the idea for this video. When I'm, doing these things, you're in this listening, you're in this open and receiving mode where ideas can come in. Think about when you are not listening to music in the shower, or even if you are listening to music in the shower. Sometimes you still might, but shower thoughts. And you have these like awesome ideas, or you're like philosophical. Like, I'd be feeling like a philosopher in the shower, bro. I'm not gonna lie. And it's because you're open, like your mind is open. Your body is kind of doing this like mundane, very, mechanical and I'm trying to think of like muscle memory tasks, right? When it comes to showering, that's usually very like mechanical muscle memory for us, right? Since we've done it so many times. And so it's this point where our mind can actually start being in this like open state, because it doesn't have to worry about the body, since the body is safe. It's good. And this is why walking, like I love long walks for this as well. But having these practices, like stillness practices, are great for like I said, listening, receiving, opening, and that is great for idea generation, listening, right? Receiving ideas from the source. It's great for emotional processing. It's also great for contemplation. So those can be great in terms of, masculine and feminine healing. Contemplation for understanding yourself, or, even if it's just understanding a different perspective. Emotional processing for, going back and seeing your narrative, seeing how you viewed something, feeling the things that you feel, allowing yourself to feel those things, meeting the shadow and the darkness, the parts of yourself that you haven't accepted with love and with light, and with that acceptance. Doing these things in these still moments, these are the only times that you can do those. If you're constantly plugged in, then your mind can't be still, right? You can only receive from one source at a time. And so if you're receiving from, your headphones, right, from somebody else, if you're consuming something actively, then you can't receive from God, most likely. You can't receive from your higher self. You can't receive from your intuition. You might be able to subtly notice it, but it'll be much harder. It'd be much, much harder. But once you get still, the yapping voice of ego, it tends to quiet down. And the faint whisper of the true self can really shine through in those times of stillness. And so cultivating, those times where you can actually just be one with what you're doing, be one with the present moment, be in the flow state, or just be one with yourself. Allow yourself to emotionally process, allow yourself to be one in your environment. And I think that working is actually the greatest opportunity for this. Because work is inevitable. Whether you're in school, whether you're, you have a 9 to 5, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're doing chores, it doesn't matter. Work is just a part of life. And I think that having this frame as work is this opportunity for me to be still, for me to connect, for me to develop consciousness and to gain awareness, I think that's amazing. And I also want to leave you with this last perspective on work. So this is like a metaphysical, more esoteric perspective on work, but it still takes into account like what physics says about work. So think about the physical definition of work. So like in physics, work is about creating change. Simple. That's it. This is work. Me moving this up and down is work. I'm doing work by moving my arm. I'm doing work by moving this. I'm also doing work by moving my hands. I'm also doing work by moving my mouth. So this is all work. Cool. However, that is just the physical aspect of work. That is the physical change. What about the mental change? What about the spiritual change? And so work isn't just physical, it's also mental and spiritual. And what do all of these things have in common? They all come from the one source, from source consciousness. All is consciousness. And so work is simply creating change in consciousness, whether that's on the spiritual plane, on the mental plane, in the physical plane. Work is about creating change, changing your mindset, changing your relationship with the world, your relationship with God, your relationship with other people, your relationship with yourself, changing your habits, changing your beliefs, change physically, change digitally. The digital world is it's a microcosm of the physical world. Work is about creating change. And so if you don't like where you are right now and you want to change it, what do you have to do? I don't think I need to answer that one for you. Do it today. Be better for it tomorrow. Stay blessed. Stay loving.